father and I used to dance together in the kitchen before dinner. When I was small enough to still like being picked up, I should. My father and I used to dance together in the kitchen before dinner. When I was small enough to still like being picked up, I shimmied my father's arms as he performed an improvised two-step. Later, I squirmed out of his grasp and made up my own steps, ducking out of the way of pots as my mother moved from refrigerator to sink to stove. When I was old enough to be sneaked into bars, we continued dancing to the sound of stomping light bands. We sat at a table, a bottle of beer in one hand, the fingers together, tapping on a rhythm. And then we were up, pushing our chairs back, no word exchanged, but both responding to some tightening of the rhythm or a deepening in the bass line. Hans Christian Andersen once said, "When words fail, music speaks." The definition of growing up can be getting a driver's license or getting married. But sometimes this moment isn't as defined as this events. Sometimes this moment can come and go before we even grasp that our innocence is lost. In this situation, words can be too much, so we turn to music. My Father Dancing by Chris Forever. I relied on the silent method we had of communicating, so I didn't know how to talk to my father when he was lying in the hospital bed, slowly dying of cancer. I hung over him like an insect caught in a spider's web, thrashing uselessly. I watched for the tiniest of movements, a gesture, a raising of his eyebrows, anything that would tell me about what I meant to him. On those dance floors over the years, we told each other more about ourselves than in any conversation. I mimicked my father's movements, and when I had gotten it right, I felt suddenly I had been dropped into his body just for a moment and knew his pleasure at pushing it onto the floor a rhythm that brought the music inside of him. It seemed natural that I should learn these lessons from him. One time, my father told me that he wanted to be the first man to break my heart, because then he could ensure that at least it would be done gently. I thought about this during one of the many hours I spent sitting by his hospital bed, holding his hand. As I waited for some sign that he was aware of me, I thought it had all boiled down to this. All I wanted from him was a simple squeeze of his fingers. As I waited and did not receive any sign, I realized he was breaking my heart, and it wasn't gentle at all. Sometimes in the hospital, my father and I talked. Or rather, he talked. He told stories about his life. When he was young, a woman he dated before he met my mother, friends he had who were, I knew, now dead. I listened for my name, and when I didn't hear it, just told myself that he just hadn't gotten to me yet. Once in a while, he turned toward me and asked me if it was time to go yet. I misunderstood the first time and tried to reassure him with what would become my mother's and my refrain. "I'm right here. I love you." I quickly learned to lie and would say that we were leaving any minute. He would forget after a while or go back to telling stories about his life. I held his hand between mine. His skin had the softness that babies and old people share. I thought, here's something useful I can do. I can protect this hand. I talked of the things we would do when he got out of the hospital, how we would dance together again. I told him I had discovered a new band for us called the Tower of Power. They had a terrific horn section and great conga drumming too. And maybe tomorrow, after he had rested, I would play the tape and we could crank up the bed. He could dance, the way we danced in the car during long trips, just moving his shoulders and clapping out rhythms. When I walked into his room the next morning, my father asked me to come to his bedside. He hadn't said anything to me directly in days. He pointed to the closet and whispered, "My pants." I pulled out a pair of sweatpants that was folded on the top shelf. "Here they are, Dad. They're right here." Then I took the tape on my pocket and put it in the player. The volume turned up. "This is the band I told you about yesterday. They're called Tower of Power." My father stared down at the sweatpants in his lap. "You want to put them on?" "Yes, yes." His voice was hoarse with annoyance, as if I'd asked an unreasonable question. "Dad, I don't think that would be a good idea. You have all these tubes down here. Get some money from Mommy and give it to all the attendants to go buy some nail clippers." "Nail clippers? You want to cut your nails?" I saw that they had gone unattended. No. Why can't you listen?" He clenched his jaw and spoke through his teeth in a harsh whisper. "To cut the tubes, you can cut the tubes with nail scissors." The panic I'd been trying to hide crept into my voice then and filled the white room. There was nothing in the room to absorb it. No colorful rug, no family photos on the wall. My father stared at me, his expression shamelessly pleading, like that of a junkie. I've always had trouble telling people no, and I realized my father knew this, and that was why I had been singled out to take him home. He looked at me and reached out, swatting the empty air as if trying to bat away some invisible adversary. His hand settled on my shoulder, and I was surprised by the strength in his fingers as he pulled me toward him, bringing my ear into his mouth. Please. There was nothing I could do for him. Soon after my father was diagnosed, we went together to the movies in Harvard Square. We were early, and he took me to one of the small parks in the square, showed me a band he had discovered. The band was made up of 2 guys on drum kits, another on rhythm sticks, and a 4th who played 2 conga drums. The musicians stacked rhythm over rhythm, starting a collaborative beat. One drummer stood apart from the others. With his head down and his long brown hair containing his face, he took his tempo from half time to double time, and then back again. He started to dance. "Come on, try it for a minute. You can always go back." "Kate, you're trying too hard." "I'll show you," I thought, and lightened my step and left him behind. I lingered and loafed in the hollows between the beats. I skittered along the edge of the melody, swaggering from note to note. The tempo increased, and I began to spin around. Using my right foot to propel me, I turned faster and faster on my left leg. I opened my eyes briefly, and the flowers lining the hospital room and the machinery crowding my father's bedside dissolved into the scene. There was a garden in the small park, and the machines became tall bushes, their tubes touching it with thin, fragile branches. I closed my eyes again. I was in a place alone with the music. My feet didn't feel the ground. I knew the music was going to stop before it actually did. I sobbed too, catching myself all at once, my right leg exactly on the beat. I so expected to see an audience in the doorway, wide-eyed and shocked that I had been dancing in my father's hospital room, that for a moment, I doubted I had been moving at all. I moved forward a little more so as my father's view. "Dad, guess what, Dad?" I waited for a gesture, a focusing of his eyes, for his eyes to close. In the park, he clapped out staccato rhythms. I clapped in front of his face.